Hey, good evening, Midwest Survivor. Time for dinner chat. So I want to say, first off, thank you to everybody that is clicking subscribe on the YouTube channel, hitting that bell, hitting that thumbs up. Be sure to do that. It's very important that you click the like and the subscribe so that we can post more content, so that we can get our message out there, because it's very important, because people are going through narcissistic relationships, toxic relationships, gaslighting, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, abuse from management on jobs, abuse from church leaders and church members. Just, we live in a very dysfunctional world, and it's very important that the message gets out there that you can overcome this, you can walk away from this, and you can find a place of healing. So, also want to say thank you to everybody that is checking out the Facebook Shorts, the TikTok videos, the X post, and the Pinterest post. We are actually on 5 forums. We are on Lemon 8. We are on TikTok. We are on X. We are on YouTube. We are on X, and we're on actually 6. So Facebook Shorts. Want to say thank you to everybody that's checking out the content, checking out the channel. Be sure to hit like and subscribe, hit that bell. So I want to go into what leadership abuse is and what it looks like, part 2. So I believe we hit 4 or 5 topics. One I want to hit on tonight is the last few. I believe there's the last the last 7 to 6. So we're going to start off with silencing dissent. Silencing dissent. When questions, concerns, or differing opinions are viewed as disloyalty rather than opportunities for discussion or other opinions on a given topic, abusive leaders will silence that dissent. They'll label people that are talking as rebellious, as dysfunctional, as broken. They will label them as what they really are. Rather than discuss things logically, calmly, and having critical thinking, they would rather silence the dissent to keep control of the narrative and keep control of the followers. Number 6 is public shaming or humiliation. This takes on many different forms. Public shaming view from social media, public shaming from a pulpit, public shaming in board meetings, public shaming and humiliation amongst friends and family members, embarrassing people, ridiculing people, criticizing people, exposing people in front of others to maintain a sense of control. These are all forms of public shaming, and abusive leaders will do this from time to time just to keep a handle on things. Favoritism. This is a very common one. This is not only common in leadership, but this is common amongst dysfunctional families. They will show favoritism, one child over another one spouse over another, different grandparents. I can honestly say that in my family, on my mother's side, there was favoritism. My grandfather and grandmother showed favoritism towards my other cousins and not towards me because I was adopted. Favoritism is based on loyalty rather than character or merit. It matters, what your bloodline is, who you are, your character. And I can honestly say that in today's generation, in today's world, that a lot of people give participation favoritism just for participating, and trust and loyalty should not be built on just how long you've been around or whatever. It should be based on your character and merit rather than just picking favorites to give control over one person or another. Another thing that favoritism, bad leaders do in favoritism, is that they will show favoritism towards one person just for the simple fact that it gives them leverage over one person over another. Grandparents have often shown favoritism over one grandchild over another one, and that is not right either. Next one I'm going to talk about, and this is a common one, gaslighting. Gaslighting is basically retelling something in a different format to make that person believe that the way things are, the way they saw things and the way they experience things is not the way that they really are. Leaders will deny events. They will rewrite history. They will make people question their own memories, their own perceptions, and rewrite the narrative to keep control of a situation or a group of people so that they can say, listen, you need to follow me. You need to listen to me. This is what really happened. This is what really happened. When in reality, you know what happened, what you saw with your own eyes, what you experienced with your own feelings and your own thoughts. And you need to say, no, I know what I saw. I know what I experienced. You're wrong. And this is going to stop. You need to set that boundary whenever somebody tries to run a gaslight on you. Spiritual or moral manipulation. This is a very common one. This is one I've personally experienced. In religious settings, Scripture, the Bible, Word of God, or the most common phrase, God told me, statements are used to pressure people into compliance. I experienced this firsthand over the course of decades, where God told my parents that they couldn't leave a church, and I was continually physically and verbally and emotionally abused by a pastor's wife for 4.5 years because God told my parents that they couldn't leave. Well, God told me statements are very, very dangerous because it is often used to manipulate people into doing or following or submitting to a leader that keeps them under control, keeps them bound, keeps them limited in their growth capacities. Number 10, protection of the organization's image. I've also witnessed this and experienced this firsthand, where reputation becomes much more important than truth, justice, or the well-being of people that have been harmed. As a young man, I went to a youth function in a church, and as a hazing ritual, 4 people held me down and whipped me with a belt. And my parents and I went to the pastor, and rather than handle out discipline and justice, the pastor and this other young man's pastor chose to sweep it under the rug because he was an up-and-comer in the organization, and it was much more important to protect him than to protect me. So, sometimes the image of the organization becomes much more important than what actually really happened. Sometimes people that abuse other people or break the rules or break the guidelines are shuttled off out of state, either to protect them, to protect the organization, or to limit criminal proceedings, keeping them out of the state for the statute of limitations, which for most people is 7 years. Because the image of the organization is so important that it cannot be damaged. Well, unfortunately, if enough incidents happens, eventually a lid will come off of something and it will blow wide open, and the truth will come out, and it will be much more harmful in the long run than it would have been had everything just come out at one time. Retaliation against critics. This is another one. When leaders are criticized, they retaliate against the critics. They exclude, they demote, they gossip, they label them as divisive, and they push them out. This is very common in a small church setting or small business setting whenever people don't want to embrace change or be exposed for leadership failings, moral failings, or financial failings. They will retaliate against the critics whenever people get close to the truth. I've experienced this firsthand, that people would much rather protect the person that is doing the abuse rather than protect the one that's being abused. This is common whenever leaders retaliate against the critics. And finally, the last one is a lack of empathy. This is very common. This is a very concerning one. When a leader shows little or no concern for the emotional, the physical, the spiritual, the financial damage that is caused by their actions, that they just view them as another number, as another person, or as just something that can be discarded with ease, that is very discouraging, and it is a lack of empathy, where they don't feel for the people that's being hurt. They don't feel anything for the person that has undergone this pain, and they will continually perpetuate the cycle upon other victims until either they are removed from their leadership or they move on and get moved out of the situation. A lack of empathy is a very damaging and dangerous characteristic, because people that lack empathy are either severe narcissists or they're sociopaths. So here's some traits of what healthy leadership looks like. Accountability. When a mistake is made on a leader's part, they immediately take responsibility, they take accountability, and they say, hey, I'm the one that did this. Let the burden of guilt and let it fall on me. Transparency. You can talk to them about financial matters, personal matters, anything. They are completely honest and open, and they will not withhold anything from you. Humility. Now, here's one that is a double-edged sword. Humility. It's okay to be confident. It's okay to know things. It's okay to be strong, but you don't have to be a welcome mat. You don't have to allow people to walk all over you. You can be humble, but you can also be confident, be strong, be healthy, and be courageous, and be humble at the same time. Respect for boundaries. If you tell a leader no, and they respect that boundary of, I don't want you to cross this line, that is a leader that you can follow. If a leader has no boundaries, I implore you, get as far away from that leader as possible, because they will inevitably walk all over you, step all over you, and just completely obliterate your life, both emotionally, verbally, and financially, when you set no boundaries. Openness to feedback. Whenever you can go to a leader and say, hey, listen, I'm not sure what you're thinking here. What is your mindset behind what's going on? And hey, listen, I know that you're in charge here, but you know, I've been around a little bit. Let me offer some suggestions about another possibility or another direction. Openness to feedback. You know, one person can't lead the way, and one person shouldn't lead the way. There should be openness to feedback, regardless of the situation. Consistent standards of consistency. When they do it, and when they talk about it, and they do it, you know, when they say what they do and do what they say, and it's consistent every single time, that is leadership that is admirable. Now, here's the caveat. If they're saying bad things and doing bad things, then you don't need to follow them. But if they're saying good things and they're doing good things, then you need to follow them. If they're saying good things and doing bad things, you don't need to follow them. And if they're saying bad things and doing good things, you don't need to follow them. They need to say good and do good. It's a healthy balance. Protection of vulnerable people. There's a lot more people out there that are hurting and broken, and a good leader will always do his best or her best to protect vulnerable people. And then the last one, and this is kind of a double-edged sword, service rather than control. You know, a leader should be available to answer questions, to help out underlings, to help out those that don't have any guidance or direction, and more importantly, they will do whatever they need to do to see something get done, and not take all the credit, but also give credit. So, you know, if your leader does these healthy attributes, you have a good leader in your life. Whether it's a boss, whether it's a pastor, whether it's a parent, whether it's a friend, if that is somebody that you follow and they do these 7 or 8 things, you've got a great leader that will take you as far as talent and ambition will carry you. So Midwest Survivor, as always, I want to leave you healthy and strong. I want you to get healthy. I want you to be healthy. I want you to get strong. Stay strong and be strong. If you have been abused by leaders and you are constantly still being abused by a leader, whoever it may be, I'm here to tell you right now, you can walk away from a situation and find healthy people, find strong people, find people that will love you, care about you, and support you, and will not judge you based on their perceptions of you. Find a place where you can be yourself, where you can become yourself, where you can get healthy and get strong. And more importantly, don't allow anybody to force their perceptions of you upon you. So Midwest Survivor, stay healthy, stay strong. I'll see you tomorrow morning for Breakfast Bits. Take care.